I've been going through some grief lately, and playing games has been an awesome outlet for me. Sometimes it's to do something fun, sometimes it's to think about something else, sometimes it's to think about nothing at all. Sims has been a favorite of mine for a long time, and thanks to 2020, I found my obsession again. And of course, my obsession doesn't just consist of playing Sims. Oh no, that would just be too easy. It extends to watching speed builds on YouTube and gameplay on Twitch, and I guess with all the playing Sims I've been doing, I just kind of wanted to add to the content that I love so much. So now let's crack open the cookbook, shall we? I recently had my sim paint every painting. Well, no, almost every painting, because I wanted to see what kind of crazy paintings there were in The Sims 4. So now today, I want her to cook everything. Well, almost everything. We'll get to it. You'll see she lives with her younger sister. I know there's technically no food waste in The Sims, but for some reason it felt weird just having her cook every day for herself, so I had her live with her sister too. Usually when I play Sims, I have one sim in the household be kind of the chef anyway, the one that cooks everything, just so their skill gets higher and everyone's food gets better. So they usually end up maxing the skill by the time I'm done playing with the family, but I don't really go deep into the catalog of meals to see what they can cook. So I thought this was a really great opportunity to find out what kind of food is in this game. The list, however, was much longer than I thought it was. Wow. Okay. And on top of that, there's a bunch of meals grayed out because they require ingredients that you don't just automatically have. And I hate to admit it, but I didn't even bother trying to cook those things or getting the ingredients. She needed things like honey, so we'd have to keep bees, or crickets. I don't know, I didn't have the patience to have her run around and get other ingredients, so I just had her cook everything that wasn't grayed out. I didn't get you with the title. She cooked everything she could. Now, before we get into how tedious this actually was, let's talk about this weird glitch I had. So when I built this kitchen, I actually have a speed build for this house on my channel. I'll link it down below. But when I built it, I had move objects on. So I was able to put the separate stove and the separate oven on top of each other because, you know, that's how it looked good. But pretty much day one, it wasn't playable. So I had to move the oven to a separate counter. But that wasn't the glitch. That was step one of being annoying at cooking in this kitchen. The glitch, though, was that randomly, she wouldn't be able to use the oven. I don't know what it was. I tried cleaning the oven. I tried cleaning out the oven to make sure there was nothing in it. But every so often, when she had a recipe that required the oven, she would cook half the meal, say she couldn't find the oven, and then just walk away from it. It was so obnoxious. I couldn't figure it out. I was like, is the game glitching or am I breaking something? Because I definitely could be breaking something. That's very possible. So I didn't worry about it at first because I couldn't figure out if it was my fault or not. So I just kept trying different things to fix it. And sometimes it would work and sometimes it wouldn't. Then when I loaded back into the game, the next time I went to play, it was working again until it didn't. And then I couldn't fix the glitch, so I just replaced the oven entirely. So eventually she gets a normal oven and stove, not the separate oven and stove. And for some reason that worked. She didn't have a problem with the regular oven stove combo. I don't know why. So now back to how tedious this was. I made it infinitely worse on myself by giving her a job and an aspiration. I gave her a chef job and a chef aspiration, and that was stupid. While I was playing this, and I did this with my painter sim, I don't know why, but I just give them these normal lives, even though I'm doing somewhat of a challenge for myself. I want to cook everything in the game, or I want to paint everything in the game, so I should just do that. And instead, I give her somewhat of a life until I get really frustrated by the end because I'm not completing the challenge soon enough, and then she has no life anymore, and I just make her do the thing over and over again. But for some reason, I don't know why, I play it realistic at first. It's not a smart move. I don't suggest it if you're gonna do some sort of challenge. Yeah, so eventually I did have her quit her job. I decided to focus more on the challenge aspect instead of just falling back into my normal gameplay, because the reason I'm doing this kind of challenge for myself is to break me out of my normal gameplay. So to start the challenge and go right back into it kind of defeats the purpose. In the meantime, I don't even know what the sister was doing. I just let her autonomously do what she wanted. I think she liked music. She was cool, except when she kept trying to cook. Like, excuse me, this is my kitchen. Get out. Get out, get out, get out. Endless food in the fridge, and she wants to cook for herself when she doesn't have a cooking skill. What is this? So by the end, my sim maxed the cooking skill, the gourmet cooking skill, and I had her start the baking skill. I didn't really focus on baking, but at the end, I wanted her to bake a big wedding cake as a finale, so she got her baking skill that way. All right, let's talk about some of the hits, all right? The cheese. Is the cheese not always a hit? I didn't know that you could just like make a thing of cheese. I wonder if that came with cottage living because you could get milk from cows. I'm sure that's it. I like that there's things from tuna casserole to pasta primavera to miso ramen to cheesecake. They have cheesecake and they call it Sim City cheesecake instead of like New York cheesecake. I think that's pretty funny. There's also vegetarian versions of pretty much everything, I think. And there's also lactose versions of things too, because your sim can either, be a vegetarian or be lactose intolerant. We don't need everything to be that realistic in The Sims, all right? We don't need to make it hard for our Sims to find things to eat because of their dietary restrictions. I guess some people do want to play like that, but that seems like something you'd want an escape from. The blueberry pie looks adorable. How cute is that thing? I'll say no to the cricket recipes and the frog hot pots. Thank you very much. But most of everything else I was interested in eating virtually. And no, I still wouldn't eat the crickets virtually. So that was pretty fun. Honestly, I think it was more fun because I didn't click on the catalog of food and just scroll through it before we even started. So I just kind of looked at things as I was clicking on them for her to cook. So I just kind of found out as she cooked more things what else Sims had, and that was probably the best part. That was probably the way to do it. Otherwise, just scrolling through the thing and seeing what they have is infinitely easier. I could have done that. I should have done that. So I'll link the other video I did where I had my sim paint every painting down below. I don't have too many Let's Plays on my channel, but I have a bunch of speed builds. If you're interested, please check them out. And I'll see you guys in the next one. I should have another video up in a couple days, so I'll see you then.